Hello again, Taurus. It's Dadhichi here with your July 2014 horoscope. And you know, instinctively this month, with the moon commencing its transits in your fourth sector of home, family, you know, where the heart is, you're going to have a bit of a tug of war there. There's a few components here I'd like to focus on, and that is primarily the Mars North Node conjunction in your sixth sector of work. In some ways, you're a little out of step with what the general consensus is this month. Maybe you just don't want to be in the workplace. You don't want to be with the usual sort of professional clique that you're with. You know, that lunar energy is pulling you back into your domestic sphere. But we see that there's a stationary direct influence of Mercury on your finance sector this month. So maybe you don't have much choice. But there's a bit of good news here, because when a planet goes forward, especially if it's Mercury, it means that whatever's been held in abeyance, been held up there, can move forward very, very progressively, very quickly at this time. So in a sense, what you need to do is control yourself when it's with other people. You may find yourself, for example, in a workplace scenario with people that are a little bit outside your normal sort of style of socializing individuals. You don't like that. But try to approach this with a more open attitude, and it is an opportunity for you to learn and to grow. These aspects, I feel, are going to continue up until around the 12th, when the 12th and 13th, when a very favourable aspect of the Sun to your natal Sun and Mercury moving into the third zone of communications on the 13th start to give you some relief. Prior to that, we see some of the hard aspects of the Sun on the 4th, on the 9th, making things rather difficult for you in those areas that I just mentioned. We do see a bit of a stabilising effect on the 9th with the Sun and Saturn. Again, these are communicative areas and areas that are dealing with the general public. You know, I've said before, all through this 2.5 year period, Saturn in your 7th sector is not great for dealing with people generally. You're wanting to, but may feel somewhat reluctant to do so. That you have to deal with on your own terms. And of course, there's nothing worse than insincerity. So if you're not feeling anything from the heart, there's no point there being with people. But of course, when you're working with people, you don't have much of a choice. So you have to adapt yourself. The very favourable aspect of Venus to Mars on the 13th, again on that same date, has a lot to do with your finances, 2nd house, 6th house. These two houses are often regarded as opposites. 2nd house is the income you get, 6th house is the money or the debts, money that goes out. So this is a stabilising influence, and one in which you may be able to finally balance the incoming and the outgoing finances. Some sort of abrupt but positive influences are seen on the 14th with Uranus to the area of your career. For some of you that are waiting for some news, you may have given up on that, but this could be a time when that letter or that email comes through, and that will be a delightful sort of turnaround for you. A very significant transit, I think one of the most important ones this month, is the transit of Jupiter to the 4th sector. This is your home life. This is a 12-month cycle, so things are going to really start hotting up there in your property area. And any issues that having to do with family, Jupiter, of course, is a very beneficial planet. It's an expansive planet, so you can grow your real estate portfolio if you're investors. You can expand on your home if you're a little short of space. But more importantly, you can really smooth over relations with your relatives at this time. That's also shown by the transit on the 19th of Venus to the 3rd house. And around this time too, we've got a full moon, which is showing us that there's a wealth of emotions there coming through. Let's move forward there to a rather difficult aspect, again on the 19th, one that I think has to do with travels and your personal health and safety. Mars in the right angle to the Sun. Be careful at that time. For some of you, minor surgery might be necessary, and So you need to just be a little careful just in your normal day-to-day activities, working with machinery, with sharp objects, so on and so forth. Relationships. The stationary direct movement of Saturn in your 7th house is very, very significant, showing that anything that's been obstructing you in that area, and I think for some of you, you've not been completely happy in your relationship. And that's okay. I mean, that's only half of the problem. It's when you don't talk about the problems that you're having in your relationship that things really get complicated. So here what I'm saying is, yes, you may have some problems in your relationship, but the fact that Saturn is moving forward means that you can address those issues and either take it all in or spit it out. You can't have one foot in both worlds here, unfortunately. So again, there's another aspect on the 22nd, Mercury in the hard aspect to Pluto, showing that the discussions there could get rather intense. I'd be waiting till after the 22nd. Sun moves to the 4th house at that time on the 23rd, but I would say around the 24th or 25th is a better time to maybe move into those deep and meaningful communications that you need. So let me just go down the list here. I'm just having a look at quite a few aspects. If we move forward there to the 26th, the movement of Mars to your 7th house, that can bring with it some strife, some disputes. So even though I'm telling you that you need to open up, speak your mind, you should expect some retaliation. You know, honesty is obviously the best policy, but people sometimes can't handle the truth. So you need to be prepared for a little bit of flack from the person that you're trying to deal with. Just finishing up now, there are some other nice aspects on the 26th and on the 30th there. Uranus again, that aspect I mentioned to your career sector. If you only got a hint of it earlier in the month, this one here shows us that it could come left of field. There could be something that's completely unexpected, could be some news from afar, or someone just inspiring you to do something in your work that helps move things forward where previously there was a bit of a block. Don't forget to join me at astrology.com.au. We have a lot more free stuff there and more detail on this month in question, along with the year, and also your daily horoscopes as well. Take care, and I'll see you here again next month.